Last Tuesday was a Tuesday. It began in the normal way by having a small child tug at the covers that were upon me at about 6:20 a.m., which is about 10 minutes before we're trying to get them to wake up, but that's the way that it goes. Then it sort of developed into a slightly unusual day because after making breakfast for and then trying to force feed to and then getting off to school those two children, I had to go to a CLE. That means continuing legal education. I am a lawyer. And at the same time, I was supposed to sort of be monitoring my normal work activities. One of those activities had to turn into a crisis for some reason, despite the fact that it was unbelievably insignificant at that particular moment in time. Then I came home and the boys came back from school, and then I was like kind of doing that thing that we all learned in COVID where you're like dad and employed for a period of time, and then it was time to start making dinner, feed that dinner to those children, put those children to bed, and then suddenly it was 8 p.m. and I was exhausted. I felt like I needed to do something to clear my head. And because this channel is about writing and recording music, you probably think that that's when I reached for the Zoom R4, but you'd be wrong. There are a few moments in this video where Editor Jordan needs to step in and offer a better explanation, and this is the first. Instead of reaching for the R4, I reached for a journal, just to do some journaling, and that journaling reminded me of an unfinished chorus of an unfinished song. I finished that chorus, and then it was like 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and I was still exhausted and wanted just to capture that new idea in the easiest, most convenient way possible. And with that particular specific goal in mind, I reached for this. Not for the camera apparatus necessarily, but for the iPhone that I use to make all of these videos. I have recorded so many hours of ideas and demos using Voice Memos because it's easy and convenient to do so. It requires minimal effort, no setup whatsoever. I can just press the record button and go. And that's actually what I did on Tuesday night. I sat down with my iPhone and the lyrics that are now shut up somewhere in there, and I began to record. At least I was like, oh, I'll just do a pass of the chorus. I mean, that's the bit that's really new. And then it's almost like I heard a voice coming from the other room.
Why don't you give me a try?
It's not because I'm going insane. No, in this case, it's because I've had a different experience with the Zoom R4 than with any multi-tracker I've ever owned. And I sort of had a preview of that experience in the last video when I was recording a demo for a new song that I had just written in the front seat of my car. I think I sort of had a sense that there was something easy and convenient about using this device. But in that video and in that moment, I was still hung up on the idea that this was not like the Tascam devices that I know better. Then a funny thing happened. I was in the middle of February album writing month. I had several more songs I was trying to write to finish out the month, like one a day or every other day. And I continued to reach for this, to record demos of those brand new songs. I think the good experiences using this device in those contexts with brand new songs that I just needed to demo as soon as possible so I could share them and move on to the next song. That made me wonder whether I could easily record a demo of this new old song that I was working on in that moment. And by the way, at this point, not only are my kids asleep, but my wife is either going to or actually asleep. It's like 9 o'clock. And that just means that I was going to have to be strategic about the way that I recorded, including recording at a very, very low volume or like in areas of the house where people were unlikely to hear me. Not exactly the way that people normally go about multi-track recording, but honestly the way that I go about almost all of my Voice Memos recording. So I decided to give it a try. I switched to the built-in microphone on this device. I set it down right in front of me as though it was my iPhone, and this little red button smiled at me just like the red button smiles at me in Voice Memos. I pressed it and I played basically as quietly as I could at my kitchen table. Suddenly I was recording with this just sitting right in front of me, just like an iPhone would. Except when I pressed stop, I could do more recording on other tracks. I knew that I needed to record vocals because that was like the second part of the skeleton of this song, and I wasn't gonna do it sitting in my dining room where people could hear me. So I retreated to the space in my house that is farthest from the sleeping quarters, and that is a bathroom. I've shot a lot of YouTube video footage in that bathroom for exactly that reason, because people are sleeping and I still have something I want to say. I activated track 2, plugged in a microphone just with a single XLR, maybe added like a little bit of fake preamp shit in the effects section, and quietly sang a vocal. I thought if I just loved you. And then, for reasons that I can't really explain, because I never do this, I double-tracked the vocal. No time for roses to bloom. And then I listened back and realized what was happening. I was capturing something that was fresh in a way that I'm not used to hearing and feeling when I make multi-track recordings. The ball was rolling and I kept it rolling. I went back to the dining room table just because it's comfortable and brought, instead of an XLR, I brought a 1/4 inch in my bass. I recorded some bass guitar. Once again, lightly coloring the sound with the built-in effects, and then I did a real-time bounce to make room for more recording, in this case, some electric guitar. Like the bass, I just plugged in DI and added like, I think, a fake matchless amp sim sound and a detune effect. And then when I felt like double tracking it, I just went to a fake high watt sound and used a flanger. And honestly, in the moment, I was just like making weird, random, real-time choices in the way that people do when they don't really have high stakes or really any specific ambition that they're trying to achieve. Oh. The last thing I recorded is some lead guitar. I looked up and it was about 11 o'clock. So I guess it had been about 2 hours since I started my work. I was up later than I wanted to be and now much more tired, but I had a song. And not just a song, but a reasonably fleshed out demo. When I woke up the next morning and got the kids ready and off into their days, I listened back to the demo that I had recorded and I almost couldn't believe it. Because I'd done so much with so little time and energy, and I really attribute that to the R4, which I'd used a couple times before, but was still relatively new. And I was, and sort of remained, surprised by what I tend to do with it, because it's so easy and convenient to use, so much more like Voice Memos than the other multi-trackers I use. It wasn't the first time that I tried to use a multi-tracker to record material that was really, really fresh, but it was the first time that I felt like it really worked. Because other devices simply require more, whether it's more space or more time or more effort or more gear. This became obvious to me during February album writing month when I tried to record demos on Tascam's DP006, which on the surface is the Tascam device that looks the most like the R4. The DP6 is portable and easy to use, but it doesn't facilitate even really simple things like connecting an XLR cable directly to the device. So if I wanted to record with a handheld microphone, which I do like to do even on these little scratch demos, I needed something to convert the XLR to 1/4 inch so that it could be plugged into the DP6. For me, often convenience looks like minimalism when I'm trying to use a minimalist setup. Just a couple of extra pieces of gear like that do make things more complicated. But in my experience, the R4 is designed to work around a lot of those complications. With its portability and connectivity and the built-in effects and rhythm tracks, it's encouraging you to get into the process of making as quickly and as easily as possible. And that's an observation I made in my first video. I just didn't then quite yet appreciate how useful that would make this as a sketch pad for new songs. And that's so nice to have, because I love writing songs, even when there's not a whole lot of time or energy to do that writing. So I cling to ideas and processes and devices to make it easy for me to make stuff and make me want to make stuff. And I'm glad to say that not only is this compact and easy to use, but it still gives me the multi-tracker thing that I like. So I'm gonna keep using this to record new and maybe even old material, get as much out of it as I can in the limited slices of creativity that life sometimes allows. Thanks so much for giving a slice of your life to this video. I hope it's been useful, especially if you're looking for something that does what the Zoom R4 is doing for me. And before you go, I hope you do go listen to the demo that I just recorded on that Tuesday night. The song is called No Time for Roses. I think it turned out pretty good, especially for such quick work. But if you have a device that you like to use for similar quick work, tell me about it in the comments. Otherwise, take care of yourselves. I hope you're doing well. I'll see you around. Gotta be quiet because everyone out there is asleep. I thought if I just loved you and blew kisses at your back, you'd show me your bedroom and the rest would fade to black. No time for roses is to bloom. But I saw their shape in you. The dream